This kid's brain is basically like Einstein's. By the time he was 7, he was already diving into advanced math. All he had to do was read a book once, and he'd master everything in it, even the words and punctuation, down to the decimal points. He could even perfectly recreate the curves in the diagrams right in his head. When his family noticed his special talent, they started giving him different kinds of books to read. Turns out, he was even more amazing than they thought. Take an encyclopedia, for example. After just one read, he could recite the unique patterns on butterfly wings and the exact number of feathers on birds. No problem. His teachers were blown away by how his brain worked, like a supercomputer. People started calling him Brain Boy. To his teachers, he was this kind of strange freak who was way different from everyone else. In the end, they gave up and quit. As for Brain Boy, whose name was actually Ichiro, he acted pretty weird in his everyday life. Ichiro often just sits still in the corner, like a delicate little doll. Besides his breathing, he barely moves at all. If no one calls out to him, he can stay like that for months on end. When it comes to eating, he's pretty strange too. If there's a table full of delicious food but no one tells him to eat, he'd rather starve than take a single bite. It's like some invisible rule is holding him back. Bathroom breaks are even more of a headache. He always holds it in. He ends up in the hospital a lot because of it. His family finally had to train him on a strict bathroom schedule. Surprisingly, once he got used to it, his internal clock was terrifyingly accurate. He goes to the bathroom at the exact same time every day down to the second. Even without a clock around, he sticks to the schedule perfectly. As he got older, his life got tougher. His parents died in a car accident, and the person responsible disappeared without a trace. His grandpa, a super-rich businessman, was full of bitterness toward society. He was convinced the world was run by bad people, so he decided to train the boy to be a killer, to take down those who do wrong. The boy who was meant to become an assassin. Ichiro had been training in martial arts and had an incredible memory. He only needed to watch something once to master it completely. His grandpa told him that his life's mission was to punish the wicked and uphold justice. The whole world's hope rests on his shoulders. But his martial arts teacher doesn't want him to become a killer. The teacher's goal is to awaken the humanity inside him. One time, while they were rock climbing, the teacher deliberately slipped, hoping the boy would cut the rope and save himself. But the boy surprised him. Using just one hand, he pulled the teacher back to safety. The boy also grew fond of a little squirrel, but his grandpa found out. To his grandpa, an assassin can't have feelings like that, so cruelly, he killed the squirrel. One night, a robber broke into the grandpa's house, stabbed him, and tried to steal their stuff. The boy happened to catch it all. Grandpa ordered the boy to take out the robber. To protect his grandpa, the boy took a stab for him, then quickly took down the robber. Right before he died, his grandpa reminded the boy again to never forget his mission. The martial arts teacher saw everything and realized there was no way to change the boy's fate. After that, the teacher never saw him again. Meanwhile, on the other side of the city, something big was happening. There was a girl named Noriko. This was a bus bombing. Noriko just missed the bus. The bratty kids on the bus kept laughing loudly, but Noriko didn't pay them any mind. She put her backpack on her head and hurried off to find somewhere to stay dry. But just a few meters after the bus pulled away, she heard a massive explosion. From where she was, near a taxi, Noriko saw the shocking scene unfold. Survivors were crawling out of the wreckage. One of them was that same bratty kid. Noriko, terrified but acting fast, ran over, hugged the kid tight, and screamed for help. In the distance, the bomber stood with an evil grin on their face. Detective Jones was put in charge of investigating the bus bombing. The scene was horrific. They found that the bomb inside the bus was mixed with tiny steel balls, making it way more deadly. The bomber's method was brutal, and 20 passengers died instantly. Detective Jones was heavy-hearted. Then some blonde guy in the crowd said he wanted to snap pics of the bodies to brag on social media. Furious, Detective Jones grabbed the guy's phone and smashed it to pieces. After investigating, they found out the bomb was brought on board by a popular influencer called Piggy. Apparently, the city had seen a bombing like this before. A female internet celebrity mocked the serial killer, calling him crazy. She did it just to get attention. During a live stream, she even predicted the time and place of the next explosion. What she didn't realize was that this really pissed off the killer. Before this, other streamers and commentators who criticized the killer ended up with their tongues cut out right after their shows, and then were used as human bombs. In an abandoned workshop, there were all kinds of chemical reagents everywhere. Some glass jars even had tongues soaking inside them. Right now, Piggy was already in the killer's hands. Her mouth was locked in place by some machine, and her tongue was clamped with a vice grip. It was cut off in an instant. The killer even took photos of it. Then Piggy was forced to wear a bomb and get on a bus at the exact time and place she had predicted herself. The bomb went off as planned. The police found some unique materials in the explosion debris that led them to a warehouse. Detective Jones and his assistant went to check it out. They heard arguing and gunshots from inside. The assistant ran in first, but unfortunately got caught in an explosion. Luckily, he survived. When Detective Jones went in, he found a man standing quietly without putting up a fight, cooperating with the arrest. That man was Ichiro. He was taken away to prison. Ichiro had incredibly sharp hearing. He overheard the prisoner next door, a man named DeBow, proudly bragging about a murder he'd committed. When the two were escorted to interrogation, Ichiro suddenly made his move. Though he appeared frail and nerdy, he revealed the deadly skills of a professional assassin. The police were powerless before him, like green recruits facing a veteran warrior. With ease, Ichiro took down the officers. Then he advanced on Debo, who was so terrified he wet his pants. Ichiro raised a single finger and, with horrifying precision, gouged out Debo's eyeball. It wasn't until a flood of officers rushed in that Ichiro was finally subdued. Suspecting he might have mental issues, the police sent him to a hospital for evaluation. Noriko conducted the examination and discovered something alarming. Even after being injured in a warehouse explosion, Ichiro felt no pain. She tested him with a safety pin, pricking it into his skin. He didn't react at all. During a psychological test, Noriko asked, "Did your mother have a beard?" Ichiro replied calmly, "My mother didn't have a beard." It sounded normal enough, but something about it was deeply unsettling. Most people would say, "How could a woman have a beard? This guy's a genius." To test his brainwaves, Noriko deliberately tried to provoke him. She kept asking, "Do you want to hook up with me?" over and over again. Each time, Ichiro replied, "I don't know." But here's the weird part. His brainwaves only showed a small blip after he heard the question, like a machine processing a command. And every time he answered, the brainwave pattern was exactly the same, like stamping the same seal over and over. Physically, all his tests came back normal. But one thing stood out. His endorphin levels were insanely high. That explained why he couldn't feel pain. It was like he was pumped full of stimulants all the time. Ichiro never spoke on his own or asked any questions. When Noriko told him to ask her something, anything, he just stayed silent. Then one day, a guy named Erdan came to visit Noriko. He'd just gotten out of prison. Years ago, he'd brutally killed Noriko's younger brother, but Noriko never blamed him. She believed criminals could be rehabilitated, and she'd been counseling him for years. Even the cops visited him while he was locked up. Erdan promised to change once he got out, but Ichiro just stared at him the whole time. It made Erdan so uncomfortable he couldn't meet his eyes. He even instinctively covered his arm, like trying to shield himself. After Erdan left, Ichiro finally asked his first ever question, "Who was that?" Noriko gave him a brief rundown of Erdan's story. That's when she decided to start digging into Ichiro's past. She tracked down two of his former teachers and started piecing his history together. A boy with Einstein's brain. He's got computer-like memory and processing power. After his grandfather died, he turned into a vigilante killer for justice. Over the years, he's been secretly punishing criminals who slipped through the cracks, including the driver who killed his parents. While investigating a string of bombings, he tracked down the hideout of the two people behind it. So he went to their warehouse alone. They couldn't beat him, so they set off a bomb and ran, threatening to take him out next time. The mastermind of the duo is actually a genius too. She's into math, physics, and chemistry. Every bomb they've used was made by her. She's evil to the core. If she doesn't like someone, she kills them. Basically, she's like the female version of him. We call her Ichiko. She has a loyal sidekick who's also her lover. They're partners in crime in every sense. The showdown between Ichiro and Ichiko in that warehouse pushed her over the edge. Now she's hell-bent on killing him. While Ichiro was being transferred to the police station, Ichiko ambushed the transport truck, trying to take him out once and for all. Ichiko was totally insane. She fought the cops while riding a motorcycle, killed multiple officers, while Ichiro managed to pick his handcuffs with a piece of wire, unlocked them in seconds, and made a run for it. When someone tried to shoot at Ichiro, one of her henchmen jumped in and took the bullet for her. Right before dying, the henchman hit a detonator. A massive explosion went off, and Ichiro used the chaos to get away. Later, she planted a listening device in Noriko's purse so she knew everything Ichiro was up to. Eventually, she captured Noriko. Noriko was tied up on a bed, already rigged with explosives. Ichiro cut open her tank top and even put her hand on Noriko's chest. Noriko spat right in her face. Furious, Ichiro triggered a bomb in the hospital. Detective Jones' assistant got trapped by the explosion, forced to wear a bomb vest with 8 high-powered blasting caps around his neck. Over the radio, Ichiro gave Detective Jones an ultimatum: kill Ichiro or else. The guy's brain was like a computer. He quickly recalled the map and immediately pinpointed the control room. Ichiro was there. Detective Jones aimed his gun at Ichiro, but Ichiro stayed calm and said, "It's too late, the bomb's about to go off." Right as Detective Jones fired the first shot, Ichiro dodged it by stepping back. They started struggling. The second shot hit the ceiling. The third shot hit Ichiro's leg. Ichiro didn't feel pain, but his leg went limp. Then Ichiro went into full-on attack mode and grabbed Detective Jones by the neck. Seeing Detective Jones was about to die, and with only 34 seconds left before the bomb exploded, the assistant didn't want to see them kill each other, so he knocked over the chair. The chair toppled, and boom, the bomb went off. Meanwhile, Ichiro was just about to cut off Noriko's tongue when she suddenly spit out a mouthful of blood. Turns out, she already had cancer and didn't have long to live. Ichiro and Ichiro met for their final showdown in the parking lot. This was the ultimate showdown. Ichiro was driving like crazy, ramming into Ichiro nonstop. Ichiro got thrown flying, but somehow he still got back up. That just made Ichiro even more determined to finish him off. She slammed the gas pedal again and knocked him down once more. Over and over, they crashed into each other. Finally, Ichiro was covered in blood. Still, he struggled to stand up again. Seeing he wasn't dead yet, Ichiro decided it was time for the final, fatal blow. As the car sped up, Noriko suddenly got a bright idea and pulled the handbrake. The car jerked hard to the side. Both of them were knocked out inside the car, but Ichiro started pounding on the window with his fists. He smashed the glass and dragged Ichiro out. Just as he was about to finish her off, Noriko's voice rang out behind him. "You're not a killing machine." Ichiro slowly lowered his hand, but Ichiro had other plans. While no one was paying attention, she pulled a detonator from her pocket. Ichiro was about to set off the bomb when suddenly a gunshot rang out. It was Detective Jones, who's always been all about justice. He shot Ichiro right in the head. Thinking about all the people who had died and his own colleagues, he got so angry he kept firing until Ichiro was completely down. Then, when he pointed the gun at Ichiro, Ichiro didn't dodge. Detective Jones pulled the trigger, but the gun was already out of bullets. Actually, they both knew that. Their eyes locked, sharing a deep, silent understanding. Detective Jones let the man go because he knew the man was on the side of justice. Ichiro limped away and disappeared again. On a day when it was pouring rain, Ichiro emailed Noriko saying he was going to take care of Erdan. Noriko rushed to Erdan's house only to find that Erdan was already dead. She was heartbroken. She had spent so many years trying to help him. Suddenly, she heard a baby crying. It was coming from under the bed in one of the rooms. There, she found a bald little boy. Turns out, Erdan never really changed. He was still a sicko. If it hadn't been for Ichiro stepping in, that boy probably would have suffered the same terrible fate as Noriko's little brother. Noriko was devastated. She realized all her years of trying to reform Erdan were wasted. Some evil people are just born that way. Deep down, it's impossible to change them. A few days later, Ichiro called Noriko. She asked how he knew Erdan was bad. He said he saw teeth marks from a child on Erdan's arm. On the bridge, Ichiro said goodbye to Noriko. He said he'd keep walking the path of justice, punishing evil wherever he found it. And that's where the story ends. The movie's called The Brain Man. It was made in Japan in the year 2013. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time. Bye.